Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a pleasure meeting every one of us once again. I need to thank God for this great opportunity that God has made it possible for us to see another day. A day is a very special day, a unique day for us to rejoice and testify the goodness of God. We're in another program, and I have to say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night to every one of you for listening to us attentively. I thank God for today, that God has given me fit for us to see another day. And today, we are going to start with an open prayer. The prayer of humility. Oh, Father, give us the humility which realizes his ignorance, admits his mistake, recognizes his need, welcome advice, accept rebuke. Help us always to praise rather than criticize, to sympathize rather than to discourage, to build rather than to destroy, and to think of people at their best rather than at their worst. This we ask for the name's sake. Amen. I know we have also expectations. We need one or two expectations from us from this topic. As we all know, the topic is about empowerment for mission. We need your expectation. You think maybe you have one or two things you are expecting us. I would like answer to it. If you want answer, you specify it also. I would like to know more about whatever thing you want to know. Let's write it down on the chat box. Also, my major interest, what you are interested to know about this topic, write it down in the chat box. At the end of the period, we know whether we actually fulfill it or not. And what are the sections, learning goals of this program? We're going to learn skills for developing engaged and empowered team members. We are going to learn a formula for creating and maintaining an empowering team or group environment. These are the things we are going to learn. So take note of them. Where you find out that we are not measuring, you will know. But if we are measuring, you try to applaud us. What are the contents of this empowering formation? The contents include empowerment and the empowered person, fostering an empowering environment, and mending the store. That will be a case study. We're going to look at that case study also. I'm the facilitator and academician, senior professor, Dr. Chap in General, Ebhoria or Charles. By the special grace of God, I have more than 30 years experience. I'm an educationalist, a researcher and academician, a consultant, an insurer, a peacekeeper, a global peace ambassador general, I'm an administrator, trade formator, analyst, a counselor, a mentor, a journalist, a poet, motivational speaker, chaplain general. I thank God, and I want to also know your experience and your qualification. You write it on the chat board so I can relate with you some other time after today. Actually, I want you to know too, there are some scoring of diagnostic survey for empowerment we need to know before now, so as to be able to get the topic very well. There are steps we need to look at in this diagnostic survey about yourself for empowerment. Step 1, you need to respond to the following statement by writing a number from the rating scale that follows. Call pre-assignment. Your answer should reflect the attitude and behavior as they are now, not as you would like them to be. Be honest. This instrument is designed to help you discover your level of competency in empowering and dedicating so you can tailor your learning to your specific needs. When you have completed the scoring key to identify the skill area that are most important for you to master. Step 2, you need to look at after you have completed the module and at interval afterward, respond to the same statement again. This time is called post-assignment. When you have completed the survey, use the scoring key to measure your progress. What are the rating scale? You look at number 1, if you score yourself 1, that is you are strong in disagreement. 2, disagreement. 3, slightly disagree. 4, slightly agree. 5, agree. And 6, strongly agree. What are the assignments like? In a situation where I have an opportunity to empower others, 1, I help others develop personal mastery in their work by involving them first in less complex tasks, then in more difficult tasks. You score yourself there from that scale. 2, I help people feel competent in their work by recognizing and celebrating their small success. 3, I demonstrate successful task achievement. You score yourself there. Be open, be frank about it. 4, I point out other successful people who can serve as role models. 5, I praise, encourage, and express approval of other people. 6, I provide regular feedback and needed support. 7, I foster friendship and informal interaction. You score yourself from 1 to 6. Is it strongly agree? Is it agreed? Is it slightly agree? Is it agreed or strongly agreed? 7, I foster friendship and informal interaction. 8, I highlight the important impact that a person's work will have. 9, I provide all the information that people need to accomplish their tasks. You score yourself. As I become aware of it, I pass along relevant information to people on a continuous basis. Score yourself that area. You look at the other area and ensure that people have the necessary resources, as in equipment, space, time to succeed. You look at also, I help people get access to needed resources that I may not have available personally. I help people become involved in teams in order to increase their participation. 14, I let team make decisions and implement their own recommendation. 15, I foster confidence by being fair or equitable in my decision. 16, I exhibit caring and personal concern for each person with whom I have dealing with. All this area, you now assess it. By the time you look at that area, you now look, there are skills you need to know as regards effective empowerment and dedication. There are about 8 of the skills. We have personal mastery experience skill. We have modeling skills. We have providing support skills. We have arousing positive emotion. We have providing information skill. We have providing resources skill. We have organizing skill. We have creating confidence skill. When we look at creating confidence, among the 16 scores, 16 assessments we gave, we now see those who have the number 15 and 16 tells us that I foster confidence. If you look at it, you go back now, you look at it, you look. Number 15 said, I foster confidence by being fair and equitable in my decision. And 16 is telling us, I exhibit caring and personal concern for each person with whom I have dealing. That shows that you have the skill of creating confidence. Let us look at the skill of arousing positive emotion. Arousing positive emotion. We look at 7 and 8. 7 and 8 tells us that, like 8 now, tells us, I like the important impact that a person's work will have. And 7 is telling us what? I foster friendship and informal interaction. That shows that you have that skill of, When we look at organizing team, those who maybe are good in organizing, you look at point 13 and 14. 13 is telling us, I help people become involved in teams in order to increase their participation. And 14 says, I let them make decisions and implement their own recommendations. That shows you have that skill of organizing teams. Goals like that. So let us look at how to assess personal empowerment skill or assessment. This instrument helps identify the extent to which you are empowered in your own work. You should respond to the item based on your own job, or if you are in school, the work you do as a student. The items listed below describe different orientations people can have with respect to their work roles. Using the following scale, indicate the extent to which you believe each is true of you. The scoring key is as shown below. 1. For instance, now the rating scale. Number 1, strongly disagree. 2, disagree. 3, slightly disagree. 4, slightly agree. 5, agreed. And 6, strongly agreed. What is the assessment like? We have about 20 of them. Number 1 tells you, the work that I do is very important to me. You score yourself. After the exercise, you now rescore yourself again. That's what we call post. But before the exercise, before the topic, we'll look at this area and score ourselves and see where we are moving. I am confident about my ability to do my work. 3, I have significant autonomy in determining how I do my work. 4, I have significant impact on what happens in my work unit. You score yourself. 5, I trust my co-workers to be completely honest with me. 6, my work activities are personally meaningful to me. 7, my work is within the scope of my competence and capability. 8, I can decide how to go about doing my work. 9, I have a great deal of control over what happens in my work unit. 10, I trust my co-workers to share important information with me. 11, I care about what I do in my work. 12, I am confident in my capability to successfully perform my work. 13, I have comfortable opportunity for independence and freedom in my work, how I do my work. Look at that 14. We look at the area of I have significant influence over what happened in my work unit. I trust my co-workers to keep the promises they make. The work I do has special meaning and importance to me. 16. I have mastered the skills necessary to do my work. We're going to look at the skills. I have a chance to use personal initiative in carrying out my work. 19, my opinion counts in my work unit decision making. And 20, I believe that my co-workers cares about my well-being. What are the personal skills, personal empowerment skills? There are about 5 of them. We have self-efficacy, which is competence. Self-efficacy, which is what? Competence. We have self-determination, which is choice, skill. We also have personal consequences, as in the impact you make. And we also have the skill of meaningfulness, skill, which is the value. We have the skill of trust, which is the security. Among the listed assessment we did, you can now see those who have that security skill, which is the trust, are people with number 5. When we look at number 5, it tells us about what? It says, I trust my co-worker to be completely honest with me. Look at that. That shows there is trust, there is security there. And number 10, we look at 10. I trust my co-worker to share important information with me. Look at that. And we also look at number 15. Number 15, as in the trust stroke security. Number 15 said, I trust my co-worker to keep the promises they make. And number 20, I believe that my co-workers care about my well-being. That shows that you have the trust skill. Let us look at self-efficacy among the assessment we did. Self-efficacy, look at the competence. And what are the numbers involved? Let us look at number 2. Number 2 tells us that what? Says, I am confident about my ability to do my work. Look at that. That shows you have a self-efficacy skill. Number 7 also tells us that my work is within the scope of my competence and capability. That is, you have a self-efficacy. Number 12 also tells us that number 12 tells us I am confident in my capability to successfully perform my work. That shows you have self-efficacy skill. And number 17 tells us that I have mastered the skills necessary to do my work. So let us look at the personal consequences, which is the impact you put. When you have this, that shows that you have this assessment, you have the skills. Like number 4, personal consequences, which is the impact. Number 4 tells us that I have a significant impact on what happened in my work unit. And number 9 also tells us that I have a great deal of control over what happened in my work unit. That shows you have that personal consequence skill. And number 14 tells us that I have significant influence over what happened in my work unit. Look at that. And number 19 tells us that my opinion counts in my work unit decision making. So let us look at those who have a meaningfulness, which is called the value skill. We look at number 1. If you have number 1, tells us about the work that I do is very important to me. And also we look at number 6. Number 6 tells us my work activities are personally meaningful to me. And number 11 tells us that I care about what I do in my work. I care about what I do in my work. Look at that. Number 16 tells us that the work I do has special meaning and importance to me. That shows you have a meaningfulness skill, which is the value skill. All these are very important. We need to take note of them. So we look at the other area of scoring of diagnostic surveys, which we have just done. Those are the things we did there. Refer to the scoring skill. We have done that one. Look at the other area. To what extent are you empowering others? Now you have finished with yourself. Now, to what extent are you empowering others? How empowered are you? Put it on the chat box. I want to see your comment there. How empowered are you? The other one is, what skill do you need to learn to improve? What skill? Write it down. At the end of the course, we'll see if we actually have done it or not. Conclusion. Look at the other area, which is a conclusion, the first part. Clarification. Do you have any clarification? Do you have any question? Do you have any contribution? You are free to state them on the menu box, chat box. So we are going to the second part now. The second part talks about the empowerment and the empowered person. The empowerment and the empowered person. I'm not seeing any comment on the chat box. I'm not seeing any comment. Probably, maybe when I finish, I want to see comment. So empowered person and empowered person and empowered person. Empowerment and empowered person. What is your vision about that? How do you look at that? Empowering for mission. We want to empower you for a mission, for a purpose, so as to be able to actualize your dream, your goals. We are going to have a discussion. Write it on the chat box too. What is empowerment? What do you understand by the word empowerment? And what are the basic empowerment? What are the benefits of empowerment? Put it on the chat box. At the end of the period, we'll discuss it. You also know before I finish. So now, empowerment. What do we mean by empowerment? 1, provide freedom for people to do what they want to do. Provide freedom for people. That is pulling the people, pulling them, provide them, we pull them, providing freedom for people to do what they want to do, rather than getting them to do what you want them to do. Look at that, you are pushing them, want them to do. That shows you are pushing them. Pushing them. What is the difference between power and empowered person? What is the difference between power and empowered person? The question asks, what is the difference between having power and being empowered? Having power and being empowered. Number two, we also look at the area of empowered employees are more productive and happier. Empowered employees are what? Are more productive and happier. Empowerment also helps the organization stay flexible and adapt to changes. When you empower the people, you see that at least they will be able to adapt to changes. They will also be flexible in their decision making. While empowerment is seen as a positive measure, when you empower somebody, a positive measure, managers often feel threatened by the laws of power and become more rigid. Look at that. While empowerment is seen as a positive thing, managers often feel threatened by losing power and becoming more rigid. What are the benefits of empowerment? What are the benefits of empowerment? We look at empowerment. When you empower somebody, one, you have given that person a positive consequences. You are going to get a positive result. By the time you empower somebody, you see a positive result coming on board. What are the positive results like? You see, you help develop self-confidence. The person will have that confidence. You want people to have confidence. By the time you have that confidence, you see that you have been empowered. That's why you have that confidence. You're able to speak boldly, talk with authority, with boldness. When you empower somebody, help develop self-confidence, it helps overcome the feelings of powerlessness. Look at that. You will not be powerless. It helps to overcome the feeling of powerlessness. You will be bold. You will talk with confidence. You will talk with authority. When you empower somebody, it energizes the people to take action. Look at that. It empowers them to do what? To take action. You want people to take action. Then you need to empower them. Thank God for IIU. IIU have been doing a great job to that. They empower people, making us to take action. That's why most of us are taking action. We must take action. When you empower somebody, it creates inborn motivation. Inborn motivation. So what you are, you bring it, you exhibit it out for people to see because you have been empowered by the necessary thing you need to work with. What of a lack of empowerment? That means you're not empowering that person. Look at that. You look at the negative consequences. You see negative things will be happening. What are the negative things? Powerlessness. You'll be afraid. You will not be able to talk with authority. Helplessness. You will not be useful. You will always be isolating yourself. Detachment. Isolating. When you see people you're supposed to talk with authority, you see yourself isolating yourself. Alienation. You see yourself isolating because you are not empowered. But when you are empowered, you talk boldly with authority. This is that the people we want to work with. And this is where we are going to 2020, 30. By SDG, we want people that are bold, talk with authority. That's why we are empowered. We are doing what we are doing now. God will help us. Let us look at the other slide. Talks about the difference between power and empowerment. What is the difference between power and empowerment? So we have seen it now, power. When you look at power, we look at the external force, external source. Power is external source. It is. Empowerment is an internal source. Internal, it is in you because you pay the price. But the other one, you never pay any price. You see, external force. With power, few people have it, just few people. But empowerment, everyone can have it. Everyone, because you need to make sacrifice. The other one, you don't make any sacrifice. That's why few people have it. You're giving. Why power is the ability to have others to do what you want. You not tell others to do what you want. Look at that. That is power. You are forcing them to do what you want, which does not speak well. But with empowerment, you do what? The capacity to have others to do what they want. Can you see? What they want. Because they have been empowered, they will not do. But for someone with power, because he has soldiers around, he has instruments, he has weapons, you will not be forcing them to do. That is power because we have elected a person. The person will be forcing us to do what he wants us to do. But when you are being empowered, you are You have others to the capability or the capacity to have others to do what they want. That is empowerment. Look at power. To get more power implies taking it away from somebody else. Look at that. That's why some selfish people, in spite of the power they have, they still want to get more, collecting people's power. Look at that. Look at that. But with empowerment, you cannot collect the person. To get more empowerment does not affect how much others have. Does not. Because you struggle for it. That's when you do it, or it's within you. That's why people with power, they misbehave. They do a lot of those things. Power leads to competition. Look at that. Power leads to, there will be competition here and there because of that power. But with empowerment, leads to what? Cooperation. This is what we want. That is what we are moving towards 2030. SDG. We want people to do things with cooperation, collaboration, partnership. Everybody should work together. There's no need of struggling. Like the power, you struggle, you do all the necessary things, you kill, you spoil people's image, which is very bad. So having known that now, let us go to the other area of dimension of empowerment. Empowerment has dimension. What are the dimensions like? The empowered person has the following. Just like we did the other one about assessment. The empowered person has the following. What are those things? One, self-efficacy. Look at that. Has that self-efficacy, a sense of competence, because he is being empowered. That competence should be there. Ability to do what he wants to do to the glory of God, because he's being empowered. When you are empowered, a power person has self-determination, a sense of choice. You have a sense of choice. When you're empowered, you have personal consequences, which is a sense of impact. You will be able to put legacy impact to people. Anything you do, you put an impact because you have been empowered. You don't struggle for it. And also another dimension of empowerment, you look at meaning, a sense of value. Anything that you do is a sense of value because you are empowered. We also look at trust. Another dimension of empowerment, look at trust, a sense of security. Because you have been empowered, you have that security. Now a question is being asked now, how can we use the principles of empowerment to develop spiritually as a committed peace ambassador, peace humanitarian, peace educationalist? How can we use the principle of empowerment to develop spiritually? Look at that. We want to develop spiritually. We must have, how can we use this principle? So that we will be a good educationalist, we'll be a good educator, we'll be a good peacekeeper, we'll be a good humanitarian. I want to write it on the chat box. What is your idea about it? Write it before we now look at the one I prepared. Now, let us go to the next one. We look at the area of the spiritually and committed person. One who is spiritually committed person. Look at that. What are those things you find in that person? The attitude and the behavior. How would the attitude be? Somebody who is spiritually committed. There are some traces you look at. There are some behavior it behaves. The person that is spiritually committed and as an ambassador, he will say, my faith is involved in every aspect of my life. The person will maintain his ground, maintain his faith, because he knows where he's going to. He's going to the kingdom of heaven. So he wants to be happy. He wants to die very well, not to die a cause death. He makes sure that he moves with the faith that will make him to get to that place he's going, the heaven. To have a peaceful mind. When he died, they'll say, yeah, this person may so rest in peace. Now when the person died, now we say, may so not rest in peace because he has been disturbing people. They will be wishing him death, Papa. But by the time you have your faith, you know where you are going to, you maintain it. Your behavior will not be, I spend time in worship and prayer every day. Look at that. Someone who has that faith must pray. Prayer is the key, is the master key. Our Lord, our God started with prayer and he ended with prayer. We must be a prayerful person, a committed person. We must move with our faith? What are the attitude of a spiritual committed ambassador, peacekeeper, or educationalist or educator? Because of my faith, I have meaning and purpose in my life. Because of my faith, I have meaning and purpose in my life. That is what he will be emphasizing on. What will the behavior look like? It will not be a behavior of somebody who doesn't have a purpose. The way speaking, the attitude also must portray the behavior, not the attitude will be there and the behavior will be another thing. Because of my faith, I have forgiven people who have harmed me deeply. That person will be full of forgiveness. Forgive people. Doesn't need to count people because you have done something wrong. I will now hold it on you. Anything you do, I hold it on you because it's wrong. That shows you are not a spiritually committed ambassador or educationalist. If you are a spiritually committed ambassador or educationalist, you will be looking at my faith gives me an inner peace. You have peace of mind, which everybody wants. Nobody knows when we are going to die. We are going to die one day. But when we die, what will our mind look like? You have an inner peace. How will your behavior look like? My faith has called me to develop my giving strength. Because you have enough peace now, you'll be able to do the work as accordingly. A spiritual committed ambassador or peace keeper or an educationalist will always be saying, I am a person who is spiritually committed. I will take unpopular stand to defend my faith because you know what it is to kill your neighbor, to do things on forgiveness, to have somebody in mind. You will not like to do that. I speak words of kindness to them in need of encouragement. Some people who need use kindness. That's what you look at. Not you skip on because the person is in need. You now make the person look, you enslave that person and make the person look somehow. No, you don't do that. So these are the traces of a spiritually committed ambassador or educationalist, which we all need to have so that we'll be happy, inner happy. We will always be happy, loving. By the time we have this spiritual committed person, we will be liberated from every attack of the evil ones. We'll be liberated from every sicknesses, from every commotion, from every anxiety, from BP, from all those things. It's good we maintain it. God will give us the grace and help us to maintain it. We'll go to the next one, which is fostering an empowerment environment. What are the things you need to look at? What do you think environment of for empowerment to come? What are the things that you look in that environment? Write it on the chat box. And we are still going to make some discussion, which is recall the time when you felt least empowered. How did you feel? Look at that. Recall the time when you felt least empowered and how did you feel? Also, what externality we are responsible for you to be least empowered? You are not empowered very well. How do you feel? What are the internality that makes you to? Though we have treated it, but those who are following will be able to answer this question. So put it on the chat box. Want to see your reply? Put it there. God will help us. So I'm expecting to see all those feedbacks. So we'll go to the next slide. We're going to look at when do people feel disempowered? When do people feel disempowered? In a situation that are perceived to be threatened. Look at that. An area that is threatened. So what will you be? You feel empowered, disempowered. 2, uncleared, overly controlled, forced, or isolating. When you are coercive, when you are uncleared, when you are giving somebody work and you're not giving a clear definition of the work, you are not you are being isolating, you are being forced, over control, all this area. You feel disempowered. Don't need all these things because it will not make you look active. It will not make you look what you need to do. Also, what are the areas when you feel disempowered? Bringing out inappropriate feelings of dependency or inadequacy. You are not inadequate, all those areas, inadequacy. When you are, let's say, feeling of being shocked, stripped in their ability to do what they would like to do. Look at that, you are being suffocated, you are being choked up. What you want to do, you cannot do it. That shows you will be disempowered. In the area of uncertainty about how you behave, look at that, your behavior wise in that area, uncertainty. Isn't it or that they have feelings that some negative consequences imminent. When you have some negative area around you, because you are not safe, that area will be forthcoming. You will not be fulfilled. Look at that. They feel unrewarded, unappreciated. Situation whereby you are rewarded, you are not appreciated. Look at that. Those are the areas you look at. Have you experienced organization member or situation that elicited feelings of disempowerment for some of its members? You see, you must have. Those areas I want to put on the chat board, so we'll look at it together. That will help us. Let us look at the outcome of stress in organizations. What are the outcomes? What are the things you look at? One, you look at centralization. Yes, centralization. When you are stressed up, the outcome of stress, centralization, that unity, different, scattered here and there. You see, you look at threat agility, response. People will look so threatening. When you are loss of innovation, there will not be innovation. You see, people will not bring their ideas, their creativity, and their expansive knowledge. They will not bring because they are being what? Stressed up. These decreasing morale. People will not come up and put in their best. You see them working majestically, doing things as they want. You see, you also look at the politicized environment. Politics all over. Politics, when there is a politicized environment, people will bring politics, no openness. People will always be wanting to witch hunt somebody, trying to do all those things. Look at that. Outcome of stress in an organization. Look at the loss of trust. People will not be no trust at all. Lots of people will loss of trust. You also look at the increased conflict. Conflict will always be there, up and down, conflict, here and there, conflict. You also look at restricted communication. That communication will be restricted, no openness. Look at that. Lack of teamwork. There will not be teamwork. No teamwork, nothing. You see, your loss of loyalty. You also came out coach leaders. There are some people who are called their eye service. They are there. You also look at the short-term perspective. Those areas, because of stress, because that's the outcome of stress. So stress is not good. Stress will not make you to get your best out, to showcase yourself. Well, there is something we call food for thought. What are the causes of stress in our organization, in our group? What are the things that are causing stress? Yes, in our organization or group. How can we maintain an optimal level of stress in our group? Put it on the chat box. Food for thought. What are the causes of stress in our group? How can we maintain an optimal level of stress in our group? Now let us take this discussion. Go to discuss. Can you recall a time you felt really empowered? Can you recall a time you felt what? Really empowered? What did you or someone else do to contribute to this? What did you do? You see, discussion, it's a discussion. We need to discuss it, but put it on the chat box because it's time factor. We go to the next one. We look at suggestion for developing empowerment. What are the things that will make us to develop that empowerment? One, articulate a clear vision and goals. Whenever you are doing anything, let there be clear vision, let there be clear goals, let everything be clear, let it be written, so that you will not go against your own scope, and you not go and disturb people, another person's own area of the vision. 2, provide opportunity to foster personal masteries. Provide opportunity to do what? To foster personal masteries. 3, model the correct behavior. Model the correct behavior. You see, the correct behavior will come because of what? That empowerment. You empowering that person. It also provides support. It creates emotional arousal. It provides necessary information. It provides necessary resources. It also connects to outcomes. Connects to outcomes, and it creates confidence. It creates what? Confidence. So let us look at that area of attribute, a clear vision and goal. What are the things you look at there? We look at number 1, create a picture of a desired feature. A picture of a desired feature. 2, we look at the use pictures, use words pictures and emotional pictures to describe vision. You should use what? Words pictures and emotional pictures to describe vision. Identify action that will lead to a vision. Establish SMART, which is S, specific, M, measurable, A, aligned, R, realistic, and time-bound, T, goals. Establish it. 5, you look at the area of associate the vision with your personal values. Associate the vision with your personal values. The other area of foster personal mastery experiences. What are the things you look at? You look there, you break apart last tasks and assign one at a time. Look at that. Break apart last task and what? Assign one at a time, so as to be able to actualize that success of empowerment. 2, assign simple tasks before difficult ones. You give simple tasks. You don't just start with difficult tasks, but you give one simple one. It goes, it's a gradual process. By the time it doesn't go step by step, you find the person will feel bored. That's why we call it empowerment, to empower that person. You start with little. Highlight and celebrate small wins. As they are making it, as they are bringing results, you do what? You celebrate them. You give them some prizes, awards. After you celebrate them. Those who are performing. Incremental expand job responsibility. Incrementally, you expand their job responsibility. As they are growing, you see them. Other people will be going to that position. It will be moving. This is how it goes. Before you know, everybody will be empowered and everybody will be happy. That is what we want before 2030. 5, we look at the give increasingly more responsibility to solve problems. Look at that. It gives you that area to solve problems in a very vast area. That's that for that. Modeling. What are those things that tells us about modeling? By 1, demonstrate successful task accomplishment. What you have achieved, actualized by that task, you demonstrate it, you let people see. Like some of us who have the experience of this for so number of years, what we have been passing through, how we were able to get to it, how we are able to study, how we are able to do all those ones because of the time frame, because of the grace of God. We showcase it, let people know. Because of, if not God, we wouldn't have been able. Everybody wants to, but not everybody will actually do. For those who God has shown mercy to. 2, we look at point out other people who have succeeded. There are some people who have succeeded. You point them out. You are modeling them, making them to know that they should be like that person, a mentor. They should be a mentor to that person. It goes, facilitate interaction with other role models. People are making it, interact with them, bring them together. You are modeling. You find a coach. Also establish mentor relationship. That shows you are modeling. Now look at the provide support. What are the things we look at by providing support? By praising, encouragement, express approval for, and reassured. These are the things you look. That shows you are providing support. 2, look at send letters or notes of praise to family members or co-workers. That is where you are providing support. 3, you foster informal social activities to build cohesion. You see, for social activities so as to bring them together, to build that relationship, to make it so solid. Also, you supervise less closely and provide time slack. You supervise closely, not to supervise less closely. You don't need to supervise as if you are not. No, you let them do the work. Whereby they are going contra, you will to correct them politely in a good way. 5, owe recognition ceremony. Those who are making you owe, they are supporting them. You owe recognition ceremony. These are the things you do to show that you are providing support. What are the things you do to show that you are arousing positive emotion? There are things you do. What are those things? They foster activities to encourage friendly formation. Foster activities. 2, you look at periodical send light-hearted message. That shows you are arousing positive emotion. You do what? You use a superlative in giving feedback. Superlative in giving feedback. Whenever you are giving feedback, you use superlative in giving. Also, you look at your life compatibility between important values and organizational goals. Let them know what their value, they are so key to this organization, and at the same time, let them know about the organization. They are important. You highlight it for them to know clearly. That shows you are raising positive emotion. Clarify impact on the ultimate customer. You see, those of the customer that are actually doing the work, you do what? You show this, you showcase it, you let them know the impact. Let the customer know. The customer will be out. That shows to arouse a positive emotion. Foster attributes of recreation in work. Foster attributes of recreation in work. At least there should be recreational activities going on in work. That will make them to know that you are arousing positive emotion. In providing information, what are the things that must be done, whereby people will know that actually you are doing what? You are providing information. 1, provide all task relevant information. 2, continually provide technical information. 3, pass along relevant cross-functional information. Give your information all the time. Provide access to people with senior responsibility. Provide them the necessary access, what they need to know, because they have that responsibility. Provide access to information from the source. Clarify effects of action on customer. These things are very, very important, which we must take into consideration. How do we know that you are providing resources? What are those things that you use? By providing training and development experience. IIU is not lacking in that area. They provide training and development experience. They also provide technical support. Look at that. Providing technical support. That shows that you actually are providing resources. They provide needed time, space, and equipment. Very important. Ensuring access to relevant information networks. So important. Also provide more discretion to commit resources, which is very, very, very important. How do we connect to outcomes? How do we connect to outcomes? By providing a chance to interact directly with those receiving the service. By providing authority to resolve problems on the spot. Look at that. By providing immediate, unfiltered, direct feedback. Very important. By creating task identity and clarifying and measuring effects. All these are very important. That shows that they are connected to outcomes. How do we create confidence? Confidence in people by doing the exhibit reliability, and what? Consistencies. You put it there, establish it, exhibit it. Exhibiting fairness and equity. Our behavior, everything should be fair, equity. Treat everybody same, make people happy, not to be biased. Exhibit caring and personal concern. That shows you are creating confidence in that person. Exhibit openness and honesty. Very key. These are key. Exhibit competence and expertise. That shows you are creating confidence. And it's very, very important. When it is important, it makes you to feel belong. So let us look at the area of group guideline and empowerment. Group guidelines, there are certain things that will guide us so as to be able to be empowered. There are certain things we need to know. We need to look at it very well and we'll be able to work with it. The guidelines are for the purpose of developing empowered group who live their faith in every aspect of their life and have the courage to resist evil, oppression, and other form of injustice, because the organization provide empowerment environment for them. Look at that, they are even around. For you to be able to resist all this evil, there must have some factors, certain things you need to take into consideration. Look at the empowerment parents that are being empowered, you know what that means. Empowerment single adults, empower youth, empower children, empower leaders. Look at that. IIU is not lacking in this area. They are good in that. So a question is being asked now. Can we develop members that can design when to and how and are able to say no to their boss, to their oga, to say no? Not everything the oga is right, oga is right. Even though oga is not right, you say the oga is right. This time around, we are developing people to do what? To be able to face, to say the truth. This is what we want. Before 2030, we want people to always be truthful, transparent. Tell somebody, irrespective of who you are, you should be able to face that person, tell that person, what you are doing is not good, though. Politely, politely, because it's your boss. So these are the other people we want to develop before 2030. God will help us. We also look at how the perspective or preparations leads to empowerment. Prescriptions leads to empowerment. How does it lead to empowerment? Like all what you have been saying, how does it lead to empowerment? There are certain things you must take into consideration, you must do that will lead to empowerment. All these prescriptions, all these things we have been talking, the dimension, all those areas, how does it lead to empowerment? That's what we are seeing, the relationship between dimension and prescriptions for empowerment. If you look at the efficacy, self-efficacy, and which is the competence. You look at that area of self-determination and choice. You look at personal consequences, which is the impact, the meaningfulness value, and also the trust. You see how they go together with the vision, move together with the vision and values, go with the personal master expertise, go with the modeling, go provide support, emotional arrangement. They all move together. Move as you are doing this one, goes to the other area. It gets confidence. By the time you have that trust, you see yourself being able to actualize what you want to do. When you are being valued in a place, you see yourself how you will be so effective in providing information, emotional arrangement. You'll be happy. By the time you have that, it goes together. The dimension and the prescription, they move hand in hand. By the time they go together, it empowers one. It makes you to be fulfilled, a good person who can stand the test of time, because there are a lot of challenges. Ability to stand the test of time is what we are looking at. Who is that person? You should be before 2030, and God will help every one of us. So we look at another area why we fail to empower others. Why do we fail to empower others? There must be certain things that make you to. Doesn't mean the person is selfish. Put it on the chat box. Why you as a leader, as an African leader, as a leader of a community or a group, you fail to empower that? Why? Put the reason on the chat box. So let us look at it together. Attitude about followers and members. Attitude about followers and members. Incompetence, not to be trusted. Personal insecurity, need for control. These are the reasons here. But put your reason, let us see. At the end of the period, let us put them together. Conclusion. We have ended part 2 of it. Any clarification? You have any question, any contribution, put it on the chat, but we're going to look at it together too. We have ended part 2. Let us look at the last part, which is the part 3. It's about case study. Case study. We're going to look at case study because the time factor. I will just say a brief thing about it. It's about a case study, a person who employs somebody, employ the person, haven't employed that person, and put the person in a very big position as a manager in charge of the stores. And what happened? The person, he had to tell the person that he should do what? He should take care of the job because he has confidence in that person. And the person, instead of empowering that person with the necessary things needed, the boss did not do that. And before you know, the lady misbehaved, as in overpowered drunk. And before you know, was unable to do the necessary thing. And we are now asking the question, why will the man do that? There are some questions we need to look at that violate empowerment. We ask, what guideline related to empowerment we are violated by this same boss who employed this lady to do work? You cannot employ somebody and without putting that person through, letting the person know the goals, the objectives, you feel because you trust, not just trust, or you feel because the person has qualification, not just that. You must give the person the preambles, what the job entails, certain things, how the person should report. At least the organization should have a structure, not just to do what, just put that person to. No, you don't do that. By the time you do that one, the tendency of being misbehaved and all those, maybe somebody who has not gotten that experience, or who maybe did not follow the necessary protocol so as to attain that level, might misbehave. But when all the necessary things are put in place, the person will be able to justify, the person giving and the person to manage. They should have their guideline from what we have discussed so far. They should have so that their excess will not be shown or be known. All these things are very important, you see. So that is why this case study is a full one. Because of the time factor, I had to shorten it so as to make sure that we are able to close on time and look at the necessary things to look at. So it's a good one. We call it minding the store. So it emphasizes on the attitude, how you are able to do things, what you should do as a boss, some of the dimensions you need to know, some of the things you need to empower your people around you, what you need to consider. And the person coming in, is the person competent to do the job? All this area must be looked into, not just to give the person, because based on trust, you don't just trust somebody like that. If the person has not experienced such before, it's not possible. So these are the things that we must be very careful and take note of all these areas. This speaks a lot of values. Because of time factor, I will like to end this, and I pray that God will continue to empower us, the opportunities that we are giving, that God will continue to help us so that we'll be able to actualize success in whatever thing we are doing. God will continue to help us, and we pray that God will continue to sustain us and give us the necessary thing. Session review. One new thing that you will start doing once you get back to your group. What are the new things you start doing? I want you to put it on the chat box. One thing that you will stop doing as a result of this section, and I want you to put on the chat box. One thing you will do differently as a result of this section, put it in the chat box, and God will help us. The greatness of IIU in the area of empowerment. IIU, International Internship University, is a leading virtual education system and global brand configuration, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide, and well reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training program and is committed to providing better and visual education to all the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 155 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. May God come to guide him and help him so that the vision we are going to put it into practice and God will fulfill it. And we pray that God will give us the graces, the strength for us to come to work. And we that we have been empowered by this world, let us also go out there to empower other people. This is what God wants. He wants us to empower people, not for us to know. And we don't want other people to know. They must know, so as to make the world a healthy place, a world that will be able to enjoy ourselves, live peacefully, and live the way God wants us to live on the last day that God will call every one of us and will be faithful to him. God will come to strengthen us and help us. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I pray that God will come to spare our life Give us good health of mind and body through Christ our Lord. Thank you very much. Mina, are you still there?